random sampling. रैंडम सैम्पलिंग, इसके कई नाम हैं, बड़े ऑल्टरनेटिव्स नेम्स हैं। एक और नाम है जिससे इसका मीनिंग क्लियर होता है, वी आल्सो कॉल इट प्रोबेबिलिटी सैम्पलिंग। Probability is a topic in mathematics. So if you are well versed with mathematics, probably you will immediately understand what does it mean. In probability in mathematics, you normally take an example, we toss a coin. So either tail will come or head will come. There you know, tail and head have equal chance of coming. So when we say random sampling is by chance, what does that chance means? That chance means equal probability of being selected. 2000 स्टूडेंट्स में से हर स्टूडेंट को चूज करने का चांस एक जैसा है। Any of the 2000s can be selected in this sample. There is no bias against any element. Element means students. There is no bias against element. But sometimes, even though the investigator doesn't feel like having any bias, some biases creep in. Some biases creep in. Some may be intentional, some may be unintentional. You may like students of higher class, that is intentional. Unintentionally you have chosen a particular type of students. Unintentionally you didn't have the intention, that is unintentional. So bias can still creep in, but the efforts are being made to make the sample representative, that each element has an equal chance of being selected in the sample. There are several methods of choosing a sample. Pick and choose. Collect all the 2000 students on the ground and start picking randomly. But it has a limitation. What about those who are absent? They will never be selected. So there are many students who don't have an equal chance of being selected. This is one. Another could be prepare a list of 2000 students. Then pick and choose from the list. उस लिस्ट में से 200 स्टूडेंट्स ले लीजिए. There is another way which you normally see on TV. Prepare a card for each student. shuffle and reshuffle them. And then you ask somebody to draw a card. जिसको आप draw of lots भी बोल देते हैं. In this way, out of 2000 cards which are in a heap, not systematically placed, you select 200 cards. That is another way. It's like lottery. Still another way is divide into groups. Groups में divide कर लीजिए. For example, there may be 20 sections, there may be say 40 sections. Each section is having 50, so there may be 40 groups. You have to select 200. Select 5 students from each class. So like this, pick and choose, prepare a list, prepare cards, divided them into groups. There can be various methods, and each method has its own advantage and disadvantage. On this basis, methods of random sampling are classified into the following groups. Two major groups are unrestricted restricted, unrestricted, restricted. Unrestricted is sometimes also called simple method. It is also called simple method. Within restricted group, it is divided into three categories: stratified, stratified, cluster, stratified, cluster, and systematic. Stratified, cluster, and systematic. So broadly then we have unrestricted, stratified, cluster, and systematic. Let us now explain each separately. So first we take unrestricted random sampling. In unrestricted, we also call it simple random sampling. Entire universe is taken as one unit. 2000 बच्चे हैं, 2000 बच्चों का एक यूनिट हो गया. And selection is made on random basis. Random का वैसे मतलब क्या होता है? कोई खास मेथड नहीं अपनाया आपने, जस्ट ड्रॉ ऑफ लॉट्स. मैंने कहा कार्ड्स में से निकाल लो, 200 कार्ड निकाल लो. Now this draw of lots can also be on many bases. We will take up each. चिट्स बना ली, कार्ड्स बना लिए आपने, लेकिन इसके लिए अब एक स्पेशलाइज्ड टेबल आती है। Random number table is a very big table, many pages. Random number table. Now, what is a random number table? We will take up it shortly. How to use it? Random number table, a small example of random number table is this. Note that these numbers are not in order. These numbers are not in order. How to use this table? You have elements, 2000 elements. Arrange elements in some order. Elements को किसी order के अंदर arrange करो. Arrange elements in some order. This is the first step. What can be the order? It can be date of admission of the student. It can be alphabetically according to names of the students. Once you have arranged all the 2000 students in some order and the random table is before us, random table has columns, these called columns if you see from up to down, and these are rows. I have written only few just to give you an example. One page of the table is in the book. These are columns. अगर यहाँ से पढ़ना शुरू करें, अगर ऐसे पढ़ना शुरू करें तो ये होगा rows. These are rows. So we can start either from column or from rows. We can start from here like this and go like this. We can start from here and go like this. There is another choice. You need not start from here. You can start from here and then go like this. You can start from there and then go like this. You can start from anywhere in the table and proceed further. Then how to select? These are 5-digit numbers, remember, but we have to select only, our number is 4-digit. Our number is 4-digit. In this way or in this situation, how do we compromise? The rule is ignore the last digit. So ignore 4, you ignore 4. What do you read? If you start from here, what do you read? 1328. There are 2000 students, somebody must be numbered 1328, select that. You move to the next, what do you find? You also ignore 4 here. What do you find? It is more than 2000. just ignore this number, इसको छोड़ दो. Similarly, you can ignore this number also because it is more than 2000. Move to the next, you take 0019, you take the 19th student. You take the 19th student in the list. Like that you can go on. Similarly, you can proceed with the, for example, if you move this way, you ignore this and this number is in your table, adopt this. You ignore this and your number is in the table, take it. You ignore this, but this number is not your table, forget about it. This number is not in your table, forget about it. This number is in your table, take it. Like this, select all the numbers which are in the list of universe, which match with your list, and go on rejecting which do not match with your list. This table is very long. One of the pages of this table is printed in the book. You have only to explain the method. You are not going to ask to choose the sample and all that. So let me repeat. You can start from anywhere in the table. Suppose we start from here. Our number is 4 digit, but this is 5 digit. Ignore this. Take first 4 digits. If they match with your universe, take it, otherwise reject it. In this way, you can use this random table. This was about unrestricted random sample. Now we come to restricted random sample. अब restricted शब्द का मतलब क्या है? What does it mean? Restrict करना, confine करना. We can say putting some conditions. Conditions attached during the process of selection. इस टाइप का लेना है, इस टाइप का नहीं लेना है. It will all depend upon your purpose and the methodology you want to adopt. We have already seen that there are 3 types of restricted random samples: stratified, cluster, systematic. Let us take first stratified. Stratified random sample. ये stratified जो शब्द है strata से बना है, STRATA, strata. Strata means groups. So you can always say grouped random sample. Strata. So what is being done? The universe, 2000 students, subdivided into groups. I told you 40 sections of 50 students each. Now what is the characteristics of group? There should be homogeneity within the group, within a strata. Homogeneity से क्या मतलब है? लगभग एक जैसे. Not all एक जैसे, लगभग एक जैसे. So if you take a section of, let us say, 5th class, it is likely that nearly all the students must be of the same age, nearly the same age, same height, similar heights and all that. So there is great homogeneity within the class, but there should be marked differences between groups, between sections, between stratas. For example, if section of 5th class student, you can't compare it with 10th class student. There will be marked differences between the two in their age, in their heights, in their understanding, and so many things. Then once you have divided the universe into groups, the next natural step is select items for sampling from each strata. Select items for sampling from each strata. What are the ways of selecting items? One way is proportional. You have to select, let us say, 5 students from each section of 50 students. That is proportional, 10% from each, 10% from each. Then there will be fixed number from each. Now this fixed number does not mean that you select 5 from each. It is disproportionate. एक सेक्शन 40 का है, वहां से भी 5 ले लिए, एक सेक्शन 50 का है, वहां से भी 5 ले लिए. ये disproportionate हो गया. So you can select either on proportionate basis or disproportionate basis. If you compare with unrestricted sampling, there is no grouping in the unrestricted sampling. There is grouping in the restricted sampling, stratified random sampling. Then we come to the second, cluster random sampling. Cluster also means groups, strata also means groups, cluster also means groups, but a different name is given because the method of selection is slightly different as compared to stratified. In this also, first step, subdivide universe into clusters or groups, cluster or groups. अब ये stratified से अलग कैसे है? In stratified, we take a sample from all the groups. In cluster sampling, we take an additional step. Suppose there are 50 clusters, 50 sections. We do not take all the sections. First we draw a sample out of 50 sections. Suppose we select 20 sections, we select 10 sections. And then from those 10 sections, from those 10 clusters, we select students from each cluster. So how is it possible? 5th class के 5 सेक्शन, 5 में से एक ले लो. 6th class के 5 सेक्शन है, 5 में से एक ले लो. Like that. Because all the 5th class students are likely to be similar. So you take one instead of all the 5. There are other examples too. For example, workers in factories. There are say 100 factories. We have to make a survey of workers in those factories. There is a marked homogeneity between clusters, all are producing one and the same thing. So there will be marked homogeneity. But within the factory, There may be differences between the worker, there may be non-homogeneity within the workers. That is cluster sampling. So, how it is different from stratified? In stratified, we divide into groups and we take sample from each group. In cluster sampling, we also divide into groups, but we take sample from selected groups. Then we come to the third, systematic sampling. Systematic random sampling. What is the meaning of systematic? Systematic means ordered. क्या मतलब हुआ? Items in the universe which are first ordered on some basis. यूनिवर्स के जो आइटम्स हैं उनको आपने ऑर्डर किया 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 like that. You go on ordering these items. Then suppose you have ordered them into 2000 students. They have been ordered on some basis. Then you decide you have to select 200, that is 1 out of every 10, 1 out of every 10. When you have to select 1 out of every 10, it is called sampling interval. So, sampling interval is 10, 1 out of every 10. Now, how will you start selecting? Say I select 4, I start with 4. That means next student will be 14th, next will be 24th, next will be 34th, next will be 44th, like that. So, when you select in this way, उसको हम बोलते हैं सैम्पलिंग स्टार्ट, इसको बोलते हैं सैम्पलिंग स्टार्ट. तो सैम्पलिंग इंटरवल से 1 out of 10 एंड सैम्पलिंग स्टार्ट कहां से सेलेक्ट करना शुरू करेंगे? यू कैन टेक 4, यू कैन टेक 5, यू कैन टेक 6, यू कैन टेक 7. अगर 7 से शुरू करते हैं 7, 17, 27, अगर 8 से शुरू करते हैं 8, 18, 28, 38, 48, 58, 68, like that. You can go on selecting. This is restricted random sampling.